On a hill above the river, a lantern burns in a window. It has burned every evening for years, waiting for one man to come home. But tonight, the ferryman is still on the water. One more crossing, he tells himself. One more coin. His arms are strong, and the passengers keep coming. The work does not end. It never does. For anyone who cannot say the word, enough. On a wide river in the old country, a ferryman named Aldrich made himself the same promise every evening. One more crossing. This is the story of the night he finally stopped counting.
Aldrich was the ferryman of the two shores. Every morning, he pushed his flat wooden boat from the west bank, where the village of Lindhaven sat quiet among barley fields, and rowed toward the east bank, where the market town of Brentford woke with the sound of hammers and shouting traders. His boat carried farmers with sacks of grain, children going to the schoolmaster, old women with caged geese. In the evening, it carried them home again. And every evening, when the last crossing was done, Aldrich tied the boat, climbed the west path, and saw the lantern his wife Maren kept burning in the window. Their son, Finn, 7 years old, waited on the dock to catch the rope. Catching the rope was his job, and he was proud of it. Then the town grew. Merchants began arriving at the dock after dark, holding up coins. "Double fare," they said, "for one more crossing." The first time, Aldrich said yes, because the roof needed mending. The coins felt warm in his hand. But something else moved in his chest, cool and slow, like water finding a crack in stone. One more crossing became 2. 2 became 4. Aldrich told himself a simple story. This is for them. Every coin is for Maren. Every crossing is for Finn. It was a good story, and like many good stories, it was almost true. He began to miss supper. Then he began to miss bedtime. One evening, he rowed up to the west dock, and Finn was not there to catch the rope. Maren stood in the doorway. "He waited an hour," she said quietly. "Then he said the river wants you more than we do," and went to sleep. Aldrich laughed, because it was a child's sentence. But that night, he lay awake with the sentence sitting on his chest like a stone. Busy season, he told himself. Only through the harvest. But the river has no seasons for a man who says yes to every coin. Some nights he slept in the boat itself, wrapped in a wool blanket, rocking between the two shores. He told himself it was practical. The truth was simpler and harder. The boat had become the only place where no one was waiting for him to be somewhere else. One night, close to midnight, his passenger was a wandering pilgrim traveling alone. The old man sat very still while the oars creaked and the dark water moved past. Halfway across, he spoke. "Ferryman, which shore do you live on?" Aldrich opened his mouth. "East," he almost said, but he only worked there. "West," he almost said, but he only slept there, sometimes, late. The answer stood in front of him like a stranger wearing his own face. "I live on the water," he said at last. The pilgrim nodded slowly. "Then you live nowhere. A ferry is a way between two homes. It was never meant to be one." Aldrich rowed the rest of the crossing in silence. He wanted to argue. He wanted to say, "When I have saved enough, I will stop." But the river answered before he could. It whispered against the hull the way it always had. Endless, patient, asking for nothing. The river had never once asked him for another crossing. Only the coins had, only his own fear had. But quiet fear that if he stopped, even for one evening, everything he loved would somehow sink. So he did what tired men often do. He worked harder. He rose earlier, rowed faster, promised himself a rest that stayed always 1 week away, like the far bank in fog. Months passed. His shoulders grew strong, and his eyes grew empty. Finn turned 8 and learned to tie knots from another man at the dock. Then came the night of the long rain. Aldrich took a final double fare across, then rowed home through cold gray sheets of water, telling himself Marin's lantern would guide him in, as it always did. The window was dark. He stood dripping in the doorway. Marin was awake, sitting by the cold hearth. "The lantern," he said. "It went out?" She looked at him for a long time. "No," she said. "I stopped lighting it. A lantern is for someone who is coming home. I could not remember if you were." Aldrich sat down slowly on the wet stone floor. He did not defend himself. He heard, all at once, every yes he had ever said at the East Dock. And underneath him, like water under a boat, all the small silences they had bought. The empty dock, the untaught knots, the suppers gone cold. He had been so afraid of his family sinking that he had rowed away from them, one paid crossing at a time. The next evening, when the market bell rang its last, a merchant hurried down the dock, holding up 3 coins. "One more crossing," he called. Aldrich looped his rope around the post and pulled it tight. "The river will still be here tomorrow," he said. "So will you. My son will not be 8 again." Then he climbed the west path in the last light, and on the hill above the water, small and steady, a lantern was burning.
There is an old truth that no one teaches us early enough. We do not have a short life. We waste much of it. We spend our days as if our supply were endless, and we give our hours freely to everyone who asks. Aldrich did not lack time. He traded it, one crossing at a time, for coins that could not buy back a single evening. The wise do not stop because the work is finished. The work is never finished. They stop because they remember what the work was for. Rest is not what remains after labor. It is one of the shores. On the hill above the river, a lantern still burns in the window. It has always been burning, not for the man who rows without ceasing, but for the one who remembers he has a home. The light is small and steady in the dusk. It does not call out. It does not demand. It only waits, patient as the river itself, asking nothing except that someone climb the path and come inside. Every life has its coins. Every life has its crossings. And somewhere, in a window you have not looked at in too long, a light is burning for you still. So tonight, which shore will you choose?
Keep seeking, keep growing, and keep shining. Subscribe to join us for the next one.